Hi everyone, welcome to this edition of Addington News. We're right outside Spectators, the green grass of Addington Raceway, the smoker over here, Chunky's Corner. It's a great spot on race night, Darren, and over the next month it's going to get even better.
Yeah, now the weather's really picking up, it's going to be great. Under these umbrellas out here, there's always quite a few, plenty of spectators obviously, but once we're warming up, we've got, as you say, Chunky's Corner over there for everyone to try, plus all the barrels and umbrellas out here, so you can just rock in race night and have a really good time.
All right, we've got a double header this week, so almost going back to through the winter period there. We've got races Friday night. We'll get to those in a moment because it's a sensational night. And of course Sunday, so we've got 10 races followed up by a 9-race card.
Yeah, so Christmas at the Races starts at Addington this week and we're full.
Yep.
Even Twiggers is part of the Christmas at the Races package. It's a couple hundred over there, so it's really promising. It's a good start. There's some Christmas trees and stuff already been put up by the team, so Nick's done a great job with all of that, and they look really cool. So it's got that Christmas fair to it.
Yeah.
And we race again, as you say, Sunday is one of the final lead-up races to the big dance next week.
Yeah, massive, isn't it? 8 Group 1s, plus the Summer Cup. I think we're going to have a 10-race card anyway, but gee, there's going to be some real interest in those races. We're going to have more Group 1 races here next Sunday than we had the entire Cup week. I think that's a clear indication of the quality of this field, of this race day.
Yeah, look, it feels a wee bit like the Jewels. It's
Yep.
a little bit different to the Jewels, and it's renamed and everything else, but it's going to have that same vibe. There's still some hospitality for sale, including spectators area with a package.
$80 a head in there.
Yep, and
a good deal.
180 including drinks and silk, so they're available. All of this grassed area plus the other lawn over the other side will all be available to the public on the day.
Yep.
So you'll be able to literally rock in and grab a barrel or grab a seat and sit out and enjoy it.
What's the entry on Grand Prix Day?
Just a gold coin donation, and
Right.
this time to the Horse Ambulance Trust.
Yep.
So we want to support them. Very simple. Race books will be free. There's no charge for a race book on the day.
Yep.
Gold coin to get in, rock in and watch races with $1 million on a Sunday at Addington.
Yeah, pretty good, isn't it? That Sunday meeting this week got a couple of key lead-up races for the 2-year-old, including Sherlock, who went round, of course, just got beaten in the Sire Stakes final on Cup Day. And we've got the fillies there as well with the likes of Artie by the Seaside, who's a quality filly too. Couple of horses to back Friday night. Gold Bullion takes its place in the Lone Star Sire Stakes, the 2-year-old trot. That's a Group 2 level, very, very hard to beat. That's race 4. And actually earlier in the night, Bob Buck has had a strong hand in the mares races recently. Cully's Delight might be worth having something each way on, with the country's leading reinsman, Blair Orange, doing the steering. But a full preview coming up shortly. Right, preview time it is, Darren, for what is an exceptional night Friday night. Obviously, we've got 9 races on Sunday too, but this is a unique meeting next Sunday, being Grand Prix Day on the 4th. Just tell me a little bit about the criteria and stuff around what trainers have to do, particularly around the Oaks and the Derby.
Yeah, look, the Oaks and the Derby are pre-payment races, so I've already got nominations for those. So anyone that's not intending to start in the Oaks or the Derby should withdraw with the racing department as soon as they can. There are markets open for those with the TAB. The 4 Aces races, the versions of the Jewels, if you like, are a little bit different to what we've had in the past, where the Jewels has been a full race meeting. These ones are still selected based on their criteria of stake earnings, but it's up to the trainer to nominate their horse for the races. We'll keep checking on everyone to make sure that they're there, but if you are in the top 13 horses, you've got your chance of running for $100,000, but it's up to you to nominate with the racing department like a normal race meeting for those. As I say, we'll make sure that there's not a hole there where there's a horse missing that perhaps hasn't been nominated. We'll check on those, but we do need the trainers to play their part, nominate for them, Greg, and it'll be a great day out.
Yeah, absolutely. It will. 8 Group 1s, can't wait for that. This meeting this Friday night's almost crept up on us, and speaking to a couple of licence holders, they were like, oh, I didn't realise that was there. And as a result, we've got some serious horses on the track Friday night.
Yeah, look, 2 Group 2s, a Group 1 and a couple of other features. But yeah, it feels like a quasi-premier meeting, if you like, and it's like the premier prelude to the big dance next week. So let's get into it. Race 1 gets underway at 5:23. Support the New Zealand Horse Ambulance Trust Sundon Mobile Trot. So we've got one of those names back, Champion Horse and Sundon, and this is a great field of 3-year-old trotters, Greg.
Yeah, no, looking forward to this race. And some of these horses trying to get their Derby prospects, their Livermore New Zealand Derby prospects, back on track. And obviously the most notable in this is High Grove, set the benchmark earlier in the year. The Northern Trotting Derby win was absolutely outstanding. Things just haven't gone well for this horse. I spoke to John Dunn earlier in the week and he said, I cannot fault him. There's nothing wrong with him at all. We need to get him back on track, and this is a great race for him to be able to do that. He's drawn out wide, which is not going to make it easy for him because Hot to Trot will definitely go forward. Mystic Max has a modicum of gate speed, and you'd be picking Royden Muscle and El Conqueror will all head somewhere near there, but I think Hot to Trot can win the race because I think it'll be in front and therefore that'll make it really hard to beat. So I've plumbed for him ahead of High Grove and Mystic Max, and I gave El Conqueror a chance too. Very good race though, the first, and great to see the name Sundon, who not only dominated on the racetrack, including winning a Dominion as he got a bit older, but obviously the biggest influence in the trotting gate, breeding-wise, just about ever.
Yeah, look, a really good field to get us underway. Kim Butt's got herself a lovely trotter there in Masterclass too, Greg. He's from the Unruly, which makes it tough for him, but impressive last time, and she's going to have a lot of fun with that horse going forward, I'm sure. Race 2 is the first leg of the early quaddie. Happy birthday, Cherie and Tamara Jackson, mobile pace, 1980 at 5:49. I think they'll have a pretty good night, Greg.
Yeah, I think they will too. And I tell you, he's been having a good run in these types of races, been Bob Butt. And I think he can go again here, but it might not be with the horse you think I was going to mention, because Kelly's Delight, speaking to him earlier in the week, he said, she's just about blouse this field. I said, really? He said, yeah. No, I'm thinking she's going to be the hardest to beat with Blair Orange in the bike. So $6 or $7, I think it's definitely worth a play. Manhattan, who Colin de Philippi will drive, races best when on the speed, was third in the mares race on show day. He felt she was probably entitled to run second, but in saying that, the winner, Darling Me, just absolutely bolted in. A Taste of Honey's there, likely to go forward, get a nice early spot. Stylish Memphis is in it, and we know what her credentials are and the quality she is. She's a two-time Group 1 winner in Australia. Of the ladyship, and Sounds of Cash was excellent on show day too, so it's a very good race. I'll go each way Cully's Delight. The interesting runner is Treacherous Gal, who of course will be in the Group 1 next week against her own age, the fillies. Not very often you find a 2-year-old filly taking on the older mares. I don't expect her to be able to beat them, but I'll be interested to see how she goes.
Absolutely, it's a great field of mares, and with that one filly there, and there's going to be a lot of features for those horses coming up as well. Race 3, talking about great mares, the Hilarious Guest 3-year-old classic, a mobile 1980 at 6:13. This is one of the races that we have as the lead up to the Oaks, and was introduced by the racing department, Brian Rabbit, a couple of years ago with a number of these races, and a great mare Hilarious Guest was. And of course we mourn the passing of Margaret Vermeulen just recently, Greg.
Yeah, definitely. And she was probably one of the early mares that was capable of taking on the boys. So, yeah, I think it's great that these names are being associated with these types of races, and I'm sure it'll be well received by whoever is able to win it. Will that be one of the Mark Purdon, Hayden Cullen team? True Fantasy bolted in the Neville final. Queen of Diamonds got it wrong at the start. But if you go back a couple of starts, Queen of Diamonds from the same barrier draw led, took a trail behind True Fantasy and was able to beat her up the passing lane. I'm not so convinced it'll just be a case of them rolling forward and dictating the race, because Moonlight Dream, Dance Till Dawn, Rakiro Rebel, Fernley Blackbird, even more Gooder, they can all leave the machine very quickly. There's a lot of speed here, Darren. And when they settle down by the end of the back straight, where are Queen of Diamonds and True Fantasy? Either one of two things has happened. They've either gone forward or they've gone back, and they'll have to make a run from the top of the straight or the winning post anyway. So they might just be too good, and therefore I'll go for True Fantasy over Queen of Diamonds, but not a lot between them. I definitely give a good chance to Dance Till Dawn. I reckon she's in red hot form. She was good at Ashburton. Her 2 runs at Addington were great during Cup week. And Fernley Blackbird, I've got a lot of time for her, and she was 4th in that Neville final. So again, a really good contest. Jeremy Young's there with Lady of the Light. You know, like there's some depth to these fillies, and maybe True Fantasy's the best, but we'll find out in the next couple of weeks.
Race number 4 is the first of our Group 2 races for the night. The Lone Star Sire Stakes 2-year-old championship, a $65,000 race, mobile 1980 at 6:41. And of course, Size Stakes Board doing such a great job with the age group racing, and the Lone Star, Trevor Casey and his team, such big supporters, not only of sponsorship, but breeding and ownership of a number of horses, Greg.
Yeah, absolutely. And he loves being associated with a good trotting race, and he's had a good couple of trotters going back to Africa. Obviously, Stent, an outstanding trotter, multiple Group 1 winner and champion of his era, to be absolutely fair. So, yeah, it's good to have his name with this race. 2 horses unbeaten here. One of them's not going to be by the end of the night unless they obviously dead heat. But Gold Bullion, I've been taken by him. Gee, he's got a motor. He proved that at Rangiora, albeit this will be a step up. He was still very, very good. And I spoke to Bob about him. He said untapped thus far, expect to be somewhere near the speed, whether that's in front. He wasn't too sure, but he knows he'll be up there. And I think that gives him the advantage over High Energy, who's 3 from 3 out of the Super Filly and High Gate, obviously raced by the Breckons. And I wasn't too worried about the trial the other day at Ashburton. It was in behind Barry Purdon and Scott Phelan's pair who are in this race, Southern Diamond and Hellberg. And she's been excellent in all 3 of her wins. So, you know, she's unbeaten here at Addington, clearly 2 starts here for 2 wins. She'll take some beating, but I reckon Gold Bullion's got the advantage with the barrier draw this week. Then you've got to consider Southern Diamond, who's really smart creatine 2-year-old who's I've got a lot of time for. And then you've got the Hellbergs, and you can't count out Paul Nairn's pair, although Tektronic came off the unruly last time and was a bit unlucky. Draws a horror draw in 13, so it's not really much of an advantage coming off the unruly. And Confessional has to start off the unruly, and that just makes it really hard out there, Darren. So, again, another really good race, but, yeah, I'm happy to be with Gold Bullion.
Blair Orange jumps on a maiden there, Greg. Miss Alyssa's sister, Miss Gracie. She could be an absolute bolter. We know what Miss Alyssa can do when she turns it on, and Blair Orange jumping in the bike there could be interesting.
Yep, definitely.
Race number 5 is this next of the Group 1 race, the What the Hill at Woodlands New Zealand Trotting Oaks. This is a race worth $100,000 for the first time for these 3-year-old fillies. A mobile 1980 at 7:16. It's drawn a great field.
It has, and another unbeaten talent in Hidden Talent comes up with a beautiful barrier draw of 3 for Nathan Williamson. Look, her breeding would suggest she was always going to be good, and she absolutely is. A full sister to Dark Horse, and a whole lot of other winners out of this family. So she's the one to beat, and this is her biggest test. No question about that at all. She's already been a group race winner. She's trialled since that win at Invercargill, her win at Addington prior to that when beating race rival Majestic Love was super. She's very, very hard to beat from that barrier. Paramount Empress inside second row, that is if Emily the Ballot comes out, that's going to make it tricky for her over the short course. She has the talent to win it, and we saw her win on show day. And Double Delight is an outstanding trotter from the Tony Herlihy barn. Tony, of course, with Bolt for Brilliance at the Inter Dominion. So Tony Cameron will do the driving, but he drove her last time and he knows her well. She's been a Jules winner. She'll give you a great sight. She punches out behind Miss Yo. I'm really interested to see what Hidden Talent can do against this field, because if she beats them, she might be something really, really special. So good race. Congrazia loves in there too, and I know Sean McCaffrey doesn't travel them unless they're capable of performing, and he's bought horses like Sovereignty here in the past. So the second row might counter her out of this one, but maybe not next week. Really keen to see what Hidden Talent can do, and I'll go for her on top.
Race 6 sees the second of our birthday celebrations. Happy birthday, Lyndall Neeking. Mobile pace, 2,600 metres at 7:49.
Yeah, just be careful trying to say that really quickly. I've been down that road before, Darren. It doesn't
battling there.
Often. No. Interesting race, this. Heisenberg got the upset win, of course, on Cup Day. Wasn't probably as good show day, but gets into a nice race here for him. Outside second row, 2,600 metres. He's only won once at that distance, but he's always been at the top level. So you'd have to consider him. I went for La Rosa on top. I think she'll press forward if she does and gets the lead. I think she's clearly the one to beat. So I'm happy to be with La Rosa. Get Up and Dance interests me. Won the Shodo Futurity last year and has had mixed form since. And I know Nathan's had his work cut out with him, but I reckon he was better in the Timaru Cup. So I'm happy to give him a big chance this week. Get Up and Dance. Last of the Mohicans, always to be respected. And I mentioned Heisenberg before, but Yeah, La Rosa's chance before she heads north to take on races like the Queen of Hearts.
Another good field, and horses like Folklore, Greg, they get under your guard at times. There's a number of horses in here that if you like one throughout the night, you should just be backing if it's a horse that you follow, because some of these horses will be paying lovely money. Race number 7, huge supporter of Addington Raceway in the industry, the N. Dobson 3-year-old classic for the Colts and Geldings, a mobile 1980. And this race has drawn a great field, gets underway at 8:19.
Yeah, key lead-up race 2 for the Sunshine Stars Derby next week. Can't wait for that. And this is a pref barrier draw. This is no walkover for a Cooter or Republican Party. Yes, both of them will be very competitive and hard to beat, but how does this race pan out? Does Blair Orange press the go button early and try and put a gap between him and a Cooter, like he did a couple of starts back, or maybe even more than that, about 3 or 4 starts back, and try and win again, as he did in the Flying Stakes? It'll be a really interesting tactical battle, because you've got, here's Herbie inside, big winner on Cup Day. Magic 4 doesn't mind going forward. Bark won the Show Day Futurity and did it in very good style. Franco Indy is a former New Zealand Sires Stakes winner. To his inside's Nicholas Cage, who the Neils are talking about potentially being as good as they've trained. Beach Ball's the horse I think has a great chance in this race. They'll be looking to make a bit of a statement, I think, leading into the Derby. If Tim Williams goes forward on this horse and gets the lead, he'll take all sorts of catching, and he might make a statement going towards next week. And Sandwave's a really, really smart horse. Great race, the Ian Dobson. He'll be thrilled to have such a good field. He'll also be hoping his horse can win at a Cooter. I'll go for Republican Party on top, because I think he might tactically go forward, get in front of a Cooter, and that therefore it makes him the one to beat. But I'm going to have something each way on Beach Ball, because I think he'll be in this right up to his ears.
First leg of the quaddie, that is, and of course it's a race that you want to be live in afterwards. You might need the field, Greg. Race number 8. Race number 8 is the second of our Group 2 races, a Continental Event Hire Mares Handicap Trot. This is a new race, a Group 2 race for $50,000 for our 4-year-old and older trotting mares.
Yeah, it's a case here, Darren, of do you stand out Peregrine on her form over Cup Week? Brilliant on Cup Day, 3rd unlucky, 1 Show Day, 1 a really good style, beating Love in the Port. So, yeah, I think she's clear top pick, but man, you've got some talent here. Streaming Live, done absolutely nothing wrong. Ricky May takes the drive again, and I reckon she'll be in this only off the 10 metres. The Bloss stormed home on Show Day, had no luck in that Peregrine race. She's always a chance. Resolve's better than her form. Time Up the Hill, we know her talent. I Dream of Jeannie's way better than her last couple of starts. Just getting it wrong. Has Mark Purdon once again. And then you get to the Northerner, Funny Face, and even My Moments Now. 30 metres a long way back, but she was actually excellent in the Franco Josiah Cup Day win, making up a lot of ground. So yeah, I wouldn't count her out of it at all. But I reckon Peregrine's the one to beat, and in the form that Brett Gray's got her in, she'll be right in this.
Race number 9 is the Avon City Ford Mobile Pace, 1980 at 9:11. Massive supporters of Addington Raceway, Avon City Ford, for such a long time sponsors of the New Brighton Cup. Provided that Mustang that Ricky come down the straight in on Cup Day as part of the parade, which I know they found a bit of fun to get into.
Yeah, absolutely, they did. And to John Luxton and everyone at Avon City Ford, they've been with Addington Raceway, I think it's about 35 years, Darren. That's how long they've been going, and it's just great to have them associated with another race. Just on the markets for the remainder, away from those features, they're going to be out at 4:30 today, being Wednesday. So good on Matt Peden and the TAB team for doing that. The shortest price favourite of the night will be Sinbad. He beat on the track Mr. Smarty, and then lost it in the room. There was only a nose between them, and it was a terrific run and an unbelievable 53 1-mile rate. He'll win this, but you're not going to get any long odds about him. Jezebel was a little bit disappointing in the Bark Futurity, led them up, and then took a trail, behind Bark, but pulled pretty hard. So, yeah, I wonder whether he'll try and stay in front with her this time, or will he take a trail on Sinbad? Either way, she's got a great Quinella chance. Hoka LeBron's an interesting runner. Pulled its block off in that same race. and Blair Orange take the reins this time. So it'll be interesting to see how the son of rock and roll heaven is driven this time round, whether he's just driven with one run. And a road have set them up in that race, that they went very hard up front and actually battled on solidly, albeit 13 lengths behind Mr. Smarty and Sinbad. But I reckon he's got a big motor, and of course he is a half brother to Akuta. But Sinbad's race to lose for mine, the 9th.
The last race, race 10, the first direct taxis mobile 2600 at 9:37.
Yep, not the easiest race to work out what might happen, but I've always had a bit of time for Radioactive Jaffa. He's only won the one race here from 10 starts at Addington, but he's been in and out of work and he's only had one run back this time in, but I actually thought it was quite a smart effort. And behind race rival Love Yourself, comes to the mobile here, and I reckon he's worth having something each way on. So I'll go for him, not with any huge conviction. Love Yourself was excellent last time. It's by Sir Lincoln and Zachary Butcher driving for Matt Purvis. It's got a good chance. Steph's boy's got into a grade now that he should be competitive, and it won't be easy from 9, but Blair Orange in the 2600 metres should negate that. And Morrissey for the Dunn team of Jeff and James from a good barrier draw. I think it's better suited to 2600 in my opinion as well. Looking forward to the whole race meeting, Darren, but in the last, maybe a bit of value, Radioactive Jaffa for Russell Kennedy.
Yeah, look, a super meeting, Greg, on Friday. Don't forget that we also race Sunday. We get underway at 12:40 with the last at 2 minutes to 5. A 9-race program includes a couple of young horse races, 2-year-old races that lead into the Aces races at the Grand Prix meeting next week. So that's going to be exciting as well. As we say, the lawn and spectators and everything else will be open.
Yep,
the video we're going to lead.
Darren. Yeah, just before we go there, so Sherlock, who you saw in the Sire Stakes final, he gets his chance in race 3, and in race 4, Artie by the Seaside takes on the likes of Lovestruck, who's been disappointing this time in. So with the view towards a week ahead of there, they're going to be important races, those 2 races. So there's a bit of form to come out of the next couple of race meetings here.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of form, and as we said, this going back and watching those videos is important too, because there's a number of horses in these classic type races that aren't going to be long out of winning once they get out of those group races if they're not successful in them. Yep. We're going to leave you with a video this week of last year's New Zealand Trotting Oaks won by Aldebaran Floss for Murray Allfield. She's a really good trotting mare, and filly she was at the time, but a great win here for Murray, and he was really excited, Greg.
Yeah, absolutely he was. He's been around a lot of good horses, the likes of Clover Don, who went around in all the group races of his era. But, this is a big moment for Murray. He doesn't have a big team these days. And, huge thrill for him winning the Trotting Oaks.
Mexicana want to play with me a length away. Time up the hill descending. Aldebaran Floss to the far side. Mexicana, Aldebaran Floss is coming. Wide out want to play with me. And time up the hill. It's Aldebaran Floss and Mexicana want to play with me. Wider out. Aldebaran Floss just in front, and Aldebaran Floss won the Trotting Oaks. Aldebaran Floss and Colander Philippi to get there. Second, want to play with me. Mexicana third, fourth, time up the hill. Then came Lorena Del Sur, Salvo, Samantha's Moon, Bohemian Rhapsody, That's Entertainment, Love Rose, Kenny Keko, and Illegal Alien. Number 1, Aldebaran Floss.